Another thing that I wanted to touch on was Bonneville. I did want to talk a little bit about that. And what has taken place this last event, which was basically Speed Week's what we call it. And without question, I mean, when you ask for a program and the level of success, success was an understatement. They had over 560 entries. There were over 2,800 plus vehicle runs on 3 courses. 2 of the courses were long courses, meaning that they were 5 miles long, and then the short course, which was a 2-mile course. But they basically, by midweek, everybody had just run, and you didn't have to wait very long to get a run if you chose to do so. You could get in line, and you could get right there, and you'd be 2 or 3 cars behind and set up and the whole deal. And it was really a neat day, and the weather was spectacular. I mean, it didn't get into the 90s. If it did, it was just one day or so. But the weather was spectacular, and everybody got a chance to run. And of course, a lot of the attrition. Of course, the course was so good that the salt was so hard that you could see the black tire marks on the ground, and that tells me that the salt was rock hard. So I mean, but cars ran fast. A lot of records were set. 2 cars went over 400 miles an hour, and in itself that was really spectacular. And not only that, you got a couple of changes that's gone on at Bonneville. As you saw photos and movies of Bonneville, you saw the black stripe line all the way down the center of the course. Well, they've gotten to the point to where they've changed that, and there are no longer any black marks down the middle of the course. What they have now are orange markers, and along with those markers you find the mile marker with the flag and the number on it. But the orange markers stand out where you can see them, and you know that you're on the course, and it's a pretty neat deal. I don't think that you're going to have a chance to get off the course. I think you're going to be able to stand on that course, and it was a spectacular event. I mean, even the concession stands. When I say concession, it's not really a concession, but if you wanted souvenirs, you could get like your T-shirts and your log books, or even your rule books were available, and the book there for the event itself. All of those things were sold out. I mean, you could not even, by midweek, most everything was gone. Every T-shirt from every vendor that was there. I can't say enough about the place, and it's the first time that I can remember that when you drove to the Salt on the road that takes you there, that when you reach the turn to get onto the Salt, there's a turn that turns to the right to take you to the entry of the Salt Flats there, that the facility was just loaded with motorhomes. I mean, just a ton of motorhomes. And I'm not talking about your little tag-alongs or whatever. I'm talking about motorhomes with trailers attached to them, and they were there for the whole week. They brought their cars with them, the hot rods of this is what this is all about. This is where it came from, is the hot rods, and then they got to drive them on the Salt, and there were a lot of people there taking photos and doing videos, and like I say, it was a phenomenal week. But it was the first time when we were pushing down to the main line, because the distance between the pit area and where you start the event and get in line to pick one of the 3 courses to run on, it's about 3.5 miles. And to the edge of the course, there were people lined up with canopies and umbrellas and every imaginable means in which to get there, and just to watch the cars and hear the cars run, because they do have their own FM radio network, and then they also use CB radios to hear the times and the whole event. and but the whole distance to the from the pits to the starting line was completely filled, and there wasn't one space in between any one of those people sitting there. They were lined up side by side. I'd never seen such a crowd in my whole life. It was really, really telling of what kind of an event it was going to be. And the other part of that was, again, we got to run the runs that we could make, and we, of course, ourselves, we had some mechanical issues, which I don't want to really dwell on, only because I think I'm the one who was at fault. But I failed to check some of the tightness of the rocker arm adjustment screws, and one apparently was a little looser than the other, and it damaged the roller lifter, and that was the end of our week for racing there at Bonneville. But we were attempting to get our driver's licensing completed, which didn't quite make that deal. So we've got the car now home and out of the trailer and up on stands, and looking into all the parts that need to be looked into, and if it's a repairable, fixable deal, and everything looks good, and we're still waiting for that looks good part of it. We can get it back together and probably try to go there in October, which it's going to be a real push, but we're making every effort to try and achieve that goal. But if not, then we'll just have to sit out until next year, of course. And that is one of the things I wanted to basically run one more time while we were still in mode here, and I think that we have an opportunity to get the next 2 licenses, and that was the most important thing we wanted to achieve, and then we can go for the gold, as they say, and try and get a record. But that the licenses are foremost the most important thing that you need to get first. And another thing there about the event, like I mentioned, everything that they had there sold out, and that's even saved the salt shirts and items that they had there for that. And that's another issue that they're trying to deal with the companies there that consume the use of the salt, and then we're trying to, the SCTA and the BNI are trying to get them to pump it back onto the salt for the future, basically. And but that we were very fortunate to have a spectacular course, and that was really a neat deal. And hopefully the World of Speed, which is another event that's going to be, actually it's the World Finals here come October the 3rd through the 6th. It's only a short event. You're talking about 3 days, and you got to be there really ahead of time in order to get teched and everything and set up. And there are going to be less people, of course, and less cars, and gives you opportunity to get more runs in.